Alright, it's time for another quick tech. I've got to install this DC jack into this little pedal enclosure, and I'm using one of these plastic ones. I think most DIY pedal builders use these. There are some other options, but I've seen these a lot for around the DIY community. The reason we use plastic ones is because with the standard way of wiring these, you end up with the negative on the tip instead of typically what you would have the positive as. And when you have the positive on the outside, or the sort of sleeve of the jack, if it's not isolated from the box, then it's just going to short to this, and you'll actually short your power supply to earth. So most DIYers, use these plastic ones. The issue with them though is that if you just drill a perfectly round hole, there's nothing to grab onto on the outside of the box while you tighten up the nut. You might be able to get a second tool in to hold the back of it while you tighten the nut up with your needle nose pliers or whatever, but it's very fiddly. In this case, I've got these two little sort of bosses here for the screws, and my access is always going to be limited. But even in a larger enclosure, you'll often have wires and pots and jacks and everything in the way. So what I normally do is take advantage of the two flats. These are molded with a flat on either side, and I'll actually create a you can see there's a flat there and over there, and I'll actually create a hole that has two flat sides. It can be a bit daunting doing this sort of thing with hand tools when you're new to the hobby, but I'll show you how I do it, and it works pretty well, and I can usually knock it off in a couple of minutes. So I'll start by measuring across those flats, and we've got 11.3 mil. So first thing I'm going to do is create an 11mm hole. I'll use a step drill. This goes up to 12, so I'll finish the second last step. The tip of this is actually getting a bit blunt, so I'll probably start with a pilot hole. With a fresh bit, you probably don't need to do that, but I'll start with the pilot hole and then take it to 11. So that's 11mm now, and I want to take that to just under 11.3, what we measured across the flats. So I'm going to use my tapered reamer, and it's just the lightest skim. Probably that might be enough actually. Let me test that. Maybe just that much again. Very light skim. I want 11.2. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to reposition this so I can file it. So now I'm going to measure across the threaded part of the jack, and that's 12.5. So the idea now is to make the hole wider in the north and south direction until it gets to 12.5. So I'm going to use my trusty rat's tail file. This is a 10mm rat's tail file, and being aluminium, this will probably take maybe 3 or 4 strokes on each side. And I'm also going to put my finger where it bottoms out. Oh, that's 12.4. So I'm going to leave it at that, even though it's just a touch small. So now it's just a matter of working in each corner, again probably 1 or 2 strokes at a time until we get to that sort of oval shape that you can kind of see there. Now I'm just really eyeballing it, 1 stroke at a time. I reckon it's pretty close. Let's test fit. Oh yeah, it's very, very close. I 12.5. do a single stroke along that north, along the north face. And oh man, that's in, but it's a bit tight. So I'm just going to get my square file and just square up the sides very slightly. That's why I left it a little short originally. Oh, it's still just a tiny bit too tight. Let me try it again. Let's try that one more time. Beautiful. So now I can just get that fairly tight and then cinch it up with my needle nose pliers like that. Using hand tools, well, it's a little bit like learning an instrument. I mean, you have to chip away at it and persevere, but eventually, even if you never truly master it, well, you get pretty good at it, and when you do a good job of something, even a little task like that, well, it's pretty satisfying. So I'd encourage you to use, or think about using hand tools before you instinctively reach for the Dremel, I guess. This pedal is one I've been filming. It's a pedal build that will be the next long form video on the channel. It's been a fun and challenging build, so keep an eye out for that. It's very on trend as well if you've been following the JHS stuff lately. For now, I'll say thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.